Anthony, number 3, if you are ready, let's roll it. Today is kind of an distinct pleasure for me because it gives me an opportunity to introduce to all of our viewers on our many TV stations and also our radio audience, the master himself. Yes, the king is here. Long live the king. We are talking about my idol, my mentor. I'll kiss the ring right now. Could I kiss the ring? Blah! There's the ring.
I want to say, Sonny, before you introduce me officially, before you say my guest is the late great. Oh.
That's it. Of course, we're talking about the ring bearer himself, Joe Franklin, my friends, and let's welcome up to Dateline, Atlantic City. Yeah, we love Joe. We love Joe. We love him. Thunderous applause for Joe Franklin right here on Dateline, Atlantic City. We love him. All right.
Sonny, if I'm the king of nostalgia, my throne that you've chosen for me is a slippery, sliding sofa. So I want to tell my friends out there, if I disappear into the night, that it's the chair, not me. So
okay, Joe, you're sliding already. You're sliding already. But listen, there's no sliding away from the fact that Joe Franklin is the boss. He is the king. He's the ruler of not just nostalgia and memory lane, but the ruler of niceness too. He's one of the nicest, sweetest gentlemen I've ever met.
Sonny, I was telling the people at the nostalgia convention today that when I began applying the word nostalgia to show business, they said I was out of my mind. I was severely criticized by the leading scholars of the world because the word nostalgia, if you look at the dictionary, the word nostalgia in the dictionary means a homesick soldier.
Wow.
I was the first one to sort of apply that to show. I was the first one to popularize the word collectible, which is now parallel with the word antique, I think.
Right. It is.
And the word memorabilia.
Unbelievable.
I used to say, let me thrill you with my memorabilia.
Yeah. And how about significant? You also came up with that, didn't
Richie,
you?
let me ask my right-hand man, Richie Orenstein, how come...
Let's say hello to Richie, by the way. Big Richie Orenstein with us today and tonight. Richie, good to see you again, baby.
Likewise, Sonny.
All right. Tell us about significant.
Richie's my right-hand man, left-hand man, anchor man, and he's the man who brought people to my studio such as Garth Brooks, who didn't have car fare to come, and New Kids on the Block. Didn't we pay their car fare?
Sure, they were great.
So the origin of the term significant and why we figured it was no longer trivial, but you take it away, Richie.
Well, everybody was using our term trivia, and nothing is trivial about what we talk about.
Right.
If we want to talk about what was James Stewart's, who did James Stewart become, whose real name, what actor's name was James Stewart, that would be Stuart Granger. So we don't think that it's trivial or trivia. It's significant. So it's significant. And then the next is going to be exotica. And I want to explain one more term that Joe made a household word, household name. Not just the name. Everybody's putting it on their antique stores, their record stores. Memory lane. Joe Franklin's memory lane.
Yeah.
He made these terms an everyday expression. When people talk about anything, nostalgia, it becomes memory lane. We went to the convention.
At least 4 dealers called Memory Lane Antiques and Collectibles.
I want to show that to our because you're saying it on the radio and TV. We're simulcasting right now. But Anthony, number 3, if you can zoom in on this, that's nice. All right, let me hold it. Is that nice? All right, Anthony, number 3. All right, zooming in on that. Did I hold it right? Memory lane. And yes, you did. And how many record shows, how many DJs used the word, we're going to step back into memory lane, including Sonny Schwartz? Why didn't you copyright it? Why didn't you patent it? Why didn't you trademark it?
You can't. I mean, I trademarked Joe Franklin's memory lane, but the phrase memory lane itself is public domain. There was a movie in 1924 with Conrad Nagel called Memory Lane, and there was a song, I Am With You, Wandering Through Memory Lane.
Yeah.
Which was Lanny Ross. Remember the name Lanny Ross?
Lanny Ross.
Theme song on the radio. Listen, Sonny, while you're zooming on a personal note, I'm very family-oriented. Could you maybe show a picture of my pride and joy?
Yeah, I would. As a matter of fact, thanks. I've received this before, and this is your pride and joy.
Pride and
joy. No, your pride and joy. So, but the pride and joy, your pride and joy.
I didn't know I had that in my pocket. I'm a little bit proud of my.
And you should be, because Joe, justifiably proud of your pride and joy. Very few people know who Joe Franklin's legitimate pride and joy is. So here, for the edification of our listeners, I'll explain it to you. But right now, for our viewers on television, as we simulcast, this is Joe Franklin's pride and joy right here. So zoom in on that, will you please? All right, there you go. There's his pride and joy right here on Dateline Atlantic City with Sonny Schwartz. Yes, an exclusive.
And for the audio audience, I mean the radio audience, it's a picture of a bottle of pride and a bottle of joy.
That's right. Both are recyclable, by the way.
Right.
Okay, we want to be politically and environmentally correcto.
I apologize.
Joe Franklin, I have to tell you this. You know, you look like Alan Rothenberg a little bit tonight.
A little bit, right.
A little bit, right now. Okay, right now, you know Alan Rothenberg?
Great.
Your injury,
great
personal
lawyer,
injury lawyer?
Trail-setting, trailblazing counselor, and you know, one of the men who created a vogue sweeping the world right now, the injury lawyer. He's,
Yeah.
And that's a require. You know, years ago, a lawyer and a doctor couldn't advertise. Now that's all you get on the radio. There's ads for doctors, lawyers, dentists, and funeral parlor. I had a funeral parlor. Guy wanted to advertise on my show. I told him you can only advertise on the layaway plan.
Oh,
And then he sent me a letter. You know, when he first applied to my show, to come on my show, what he cited? Eventually yours.
Well, at any rate, Joe Franklin with us today, and speaking about terrific guys and significant and not so significant and trivia and memory lane. Erotica. Listen, by the way, did you see those three young Madonna lookalikes? No, never mind. That's another story. But at any rate, we are here with Joe. What's it? Frank Joklin?
Frank Joklin.
Yeah. Ben Franklin's brother, Joe, right here on down. What's the name of the show? Dateline Atlantic City with Sonny Schwartz, having such a good time we almost lost control of our emotions. Because I second that emotion.
You know, Sonny, Richie pointed out to me that everybody says about all the good things I did, and we did give the first exposure, and maybe Richie will name some of the people, but a man named Sonny Schwartz, on a really, really warm, heartwarming note, gave a lot of exposure to a lot of people in your column and on your programs, and you spend most of your life pampering and you know, building up people. We got to let the world know that you have given, including to me, a lot of breaks when I really needed them, Sonny, and I'm very honored and proud to be sitting with you here today.
Joe.
Tonight.
And today. Today and tonight.
Right.
We're gonna do. But listen, what I'm saying to you is, Joe, and I mean this now, I'll get a little sincere without getting too smarmy. Is that what they call smarmy when you patronize it, over condescend?
Why not? Why not?
Yeah. But I have to say this, that in all seriousness, Joe, you've always been there. Every time I've asked you to a special occasion, to anything like that, I know you don't travel that much. I really regard it and consider it as a great, great, great honor, and I mean that sincerely. And you know, you did teach me one time at the very beginning, because I have looked up to you as a brother figure.
Father image.
Right. But I've looked up to you, and you told me, Sonny, that the major thing about it, one thing about life that I have to teach you, is that sincerity is where it's at. Sincerity is, and I've tried to live by these rules. And you said, once you learn how to fake it, you got it made.
I've always said that.
Yeah, right.
My first commercial on the radio was 9 out of 10 doctors who tried camels went back to women. It was my first commercial on the radio.
But sitting around chatting it up with Joe Franklin and Rich Orenstein, I'll tell you, he's too quick for me. But I will say this, I really regard him as a mentor. When I grow up, I want to be just like Joe Franklin. Joe kicked off Dateline Atlantic City with Sonny Schwartz 5 years ago. 5 years ago, kicked it off, and you were here. And as a matter of fact, Anthony, number 3, if possible, let's go back in time, a little trip down Joe Franklin's memory lane and Sonny Schwartz's, to have a little pre-introduction toast of a young and handsome Joe Franklin and a young and handsome Sonny Schwartz. Well, anyway, 1 out of 2 ain't bad. But right now, let's go back in time as we the pre-show, the first show we did.
Back in time to Once Upon a Time.
Really important and wonderful new series. I want you to know that I've been to many, many launchings, many champagne launchings, but I must say in all honesty that this is the most recent. And the host is a wonderful man who has gone overnight from obscurity to total oblivion.
Right.
And
Back in the force spell again.
And may he live as long as he wants, and may never want as long as he lived.
Beautiful.
Sonny, I just want to say a little bit of wisdom. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. You're a nice man.
Thanks, Joe.
Don't forget, for every door that closes, another door closes.
Joe's my friend. I appreciate it. For you to come in from Alaska tonight and fly in on general limousine service, I mean, how was that ride, by the way?
Bumpy. No, beautiful.
Beautiful ride? Beautiful.
It's
Okay.
a big, big success.
There it is. Joe, remember that? We had
Loved
some
it.
fun,
It was
didn't
a
we?
big night.
Yes, it was. And, you know, WMID 1340 AM on your radio dial. Bill Musser was there that night.
Great station.
And it is. And you also know that's our flagship station in Atlantic City. Of course, we're on Media One Radio Entertainment
I know.
Network as well, which on the Telstar satellite number 3. The whole deal takes us all across this country and Mexico and Canada. And if you were speaking to some of our friends in Canada right now, and which you are, by the way, what would you say to them?
I would say if the wind is strong, I'm heard in Brooklyn.
Okay.